You want to know what's going on here in the local Southern Oregon real estate market, not New York, LA, or Texas, right? It's current and local information that's going to help you make the best decisions about buying or selling in Southern Oregon. And that's exactly what you're going to get on this video right here. You've probably heard a lot of people talking about investing in real estate, but maybe they don't know where to invest in Southern Oregon real estate or even how to invest in real estate in general. And I heard a long time ago that there were more millionaires made in real estate than any other industry at all. And I don't know if that's still true anymore, but I know that there are a lot of people who become very wealthy in real estate, and that is a really, really good place to park your money. Given the current market conditions, there's really a lot of great opportunities out there to invest in real estate in Southern Oregon. So in this video, we are going to dive into that. We're going to talk about data, and we're going to answer the question specifically on where to invest in Southern Oregon real estate. Hey, I'm Brian Simmons with eXp Realty. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Southern Oregon, and I would love to answer your questions. So if there's anything I can do to help you learn, buy, or list real estate here in Southern Oregon, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can call me directly at 541-954-7758, or there's a link in the description of this video where you can schedule a time for us to meet face-to-face online or in person, and we can chat that way. So I would love to hear from you. Also use the comments down below to let me know something I missed or anything that you have to contribute. So I'd love to hear from you there as well. I want to be clear that I am not a financial advisor. I am a realtor, and so please do not take anything that I am saying in this video as financial advice. I want to just make sure that we're very, very clear about that, because that is not what it is intended to be. Now let's cut right to the chase, get into the data of what's going on in the market today, and then we'll talk about where to invest in real estate in Southern Oregon. So today is September 20th, and on the market this morning, there's 1,135 homes between Jackson and Josephine counties of Southern Oregon, okay? And that's looking just at single-family residential homes between the two counties, okay? 1,135. In the last week, we had 103 new listings hit the market, 129 price changes. We had 20 come back on the market. 73 went pending, 72 closed, and 33 were either expired, withdrawn, or canceled, going off the market for some reason other than selling. So the things that jump out to me in that data just right off the cuff is that the number of new listings was actually higher than I had expected. I thought that we were going to kind of see that start to taper down, and didn't really expect to see a number above 100 again for the rest of the year. I didn't expect to see that. But last one we saw was August 22nd for the week prior to that, and now we're at 103. But last week was 90, the week before that was 89, the week before that was 74. So not really a massive change necessarily, but just I kind of expected to see that more dropping down, but it is what it is. So 103 new listings was a little bit of a surprise. Also was surprised to see the number of price changes bounce back up high. And so you may have remembered in the last video I did, or it might have been the one before that even, but I talked about the number of price changes dropping significantly, because it did. The week prior to September 6th, the price changes were 68. Only 68 on the entire market had a price change, which was really, really surprising to see it be that low. And we saw 125 the week after that and 129 last week. So that's a pretty big change, and definitely, different than what we had discussed in that video. So it's something we'll continue to watch, but that is what was going on there with the price changes, and that's a little bit of a surprise to see again that high, but pretty stable on the number of pendings and the number of closings. That hasn't really seemed to fluctuate a lot. Pendings has kind of gone down a little bit, which is expected this time of year. So I don't see anything there that is out of the ordinary or anything that we wouldn't expect to see. So that's what we're looking at with the data. Now let's get into the big topic of the day, which is where to invest in Southern Oregon real estate. And I'm going to share my screen with you in a second. I'm going to show you a couple maps to kind of show you my point. Okay, so what I really want to talk about here is just the idea of investing in real estate and which areas are good ones to invest in my opinion. All right, and so what the best way for me to explain this is, I think, to think back about what would have been a good area to invest in maybe 30 years ago. All right, and if you look at this red area here, imagine being somebody who invested in property inside this red circle. Well, I guess you can't really call it a circle, but inside this red area 30 years ago, 40 years ago, something like that, okay? think about that, because a lot of people, might be saying it's not a good time to invest in real estate because, mortgage rates are too high, or whatever the case is. But if you were somebody who invested in this area 30 or 40 years ago, rates 30 or 40 years ago, let's say, 1990 would have been 33 years ago, that was 9.74, 9.75%. If you go, 40 years ago, you're looking at, you're looking at way higher rates, 13, 12, in the teens. So if you were somebody who purchased property in this inside this red circle 30, 40 years ago, between 10 and 15% for your mortgage rate, do you think that would be a good investment? Do you think that paid off? Right? Are those people sitting there now saying, "Man, I wish I wouldn't have spent the money. The rates were too high. I shouldn't have done it." Right? Do you think people are doing that? I don't. I think they're the people that are probably retired on the hill because they made a killing off the property that they invested in, knowing that it's more about the return than it is the investment. Right? That's an important thing to know. No matter if you're investing in real estate or anything else, it's really more, in my opinion, again, it's about the return, not the investment. So if you could pay 15% interest on your mortgage, but you knew that you were going to get a much better return on your investment in general, that may make sense to do, right? As long as you're gaining more than you're spending, you're going to have a positive return. So that is something that I think is worth noting, because there's a lot of people that are saying, you know what, everything's been bought up inside this red area, which is also not true. There's still plenty of area like this green shaded area right in here. Things kind of going out past, Foothill in Medford, going out towards White City. There's a lot of area out in there. There's a lot of great places where there's gonna be future expansion, right? Also, coming from East Medford back out towards Phoenix, lots of great areas, even off of like the South Stage Road area. Lots of areas like that are just ripe for future expansion as the Medford and Southern Oregon area grows. So I think that's something that is worth noting, right? And I want to make sure people are not thinking like along the lines of, I don't want to invest in something like that because I don't want to spend 7.5% on my mortgage rate. Think back again to like what these people who invested in, if you invested in some property out in West Medford or even up in East Medford in the hills 30 or 40 years ago, how would that have paid off today? I'm sure it was a very, very good payout. Even if you invested in White City, Eagle Point, there's a lot of places out there where there's been a lot of growth and a lot of expansion that people made a lot of money by buying the right pieces of property and not really getting hung up on what they were paying on their mortgage rate. So that's something that I just want to make a point of is think about, inside that red circle 30 to 40 years ago. And I think, what if 30 or 40 years from now, we'll be talking about this blue circle as the new kind of area of like, wow, that was really a smart place to be investing. So that's something that I want to share for the Medford area. And then I've got the same thing kind of for the Grants Pass area, where I think if you were to really look at this stuff inside of the red circle, especially out, Redwood Avenue area has seen a ton of growth in the last, 10, 15 years. Lots of growth out there. Lots of growth still to come, I'm sure, going out this way further. And even continuing on out Redwood Highway. I'm sure if you were able to buy up property in any of these areas out here, you have a huge opportunity to do well with that. Okay, so same story in Grants Pass. I think there's just going to continue to be more expansion out in these areas, Upper and Lower River Road, going out, Redwood Avenue, I think going out Jerome Prairie, New Hope Road. All these areas I think are going to continue to see sprawl. Okay, and so if you could get flat land that is maybe on the outskirts of town currently, that might be something that in 20 years, maybe not even that long, you end up with a place where it can be subdivided up, you can sell it to a developer, and you can make a lot of money. And Rogue River is another area where there's a big shortage of houses, and there's great opportunities there to buy up pieces of land and fill in lots that have never been sold, that have been old farms or whatever, and develop. And so that's something that is a great idea, in my opinion. And these areas are the ones that I think are really going to be great opportunities for future growth. So that is my thoughts on where to invest in the Southern Oregon real estate market. Anywhere inside, this blue circle in Grants Pass and this blue circle in the Jackson County area, those I think are really solid investment areas. So I hope that information was helpful for you if you're thinking about investing in the Southern Oregon real estate market, and also just more specifically of where to invest in Southern Oregon real estate. I hope that answered some questions for you or gave you some ideas at least on where to look. If you are looking at doing that type of a thing, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be more than happy to help you, no matter if it's investing in the Southern Oregon real estate market or just anything I can do to help you learn, buy, or list real estate here in Southern Oregon. I'm always more than happy to help. Just reach out to me directly. Call me or text me at 541-954-7758. Or, of course, there's a link in the description of this video that you can click on for us to meet face-to-face, just like this on a Zoom or a Google Meet. So happy to do that with you. Thank you for watching this. I hope, again, it was of value. Hit that like button. Click the subscribe icon there. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great one.